And welcome back to another episode of Generation Sports Fantasy Edition. It is turkey time. Gobble, gobble, motherfuckers. That's right. We're back. We're better than ever. And Messiah, what's up, buddy? Or Messiah, excuse me, Mez, Chris, whatever. We in here. That's right. He's always in here. Sending them likes, sending them notifications. That's right. All right, we got a special episode in store for everybody today. Unfortunately, I do apologize. My co-host, who you normally see, is MIA. That's right. Like, subscribe, click the follow button, do all those things. But unfortunately, he's going through some personal crisis when it comes to fantasy football. He is on tilt. He is not in a good place. And so for the time being, blessings be to all. Mr. Filter himself is going to help me out with this show since Mr. Terry, the world famous co-host, is MIA. How you doing today, buddy?
Blessings be to all. Blessings be to you, Brother Sheck.
Blessings be to you as well.
To you. Blessings be to you, Brother Chris.
I was going to say, don't forget him. All right, so we got a little bit different episode. Being it's Thanksgiving week and only really 3 weeks left in the season, we're going to do things a little bit different today. We're actually going to break down well, it's not going to be an intensive breakdown. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at every team individually and look at their next three matchups and just quickly say win or loss and find out where the records are going to fall and who is in and who is out, basically. Now, there's a lot of variables. We understand points and different things can play factors to all that stuff. But we're just going to go through our best guess and what we think. So without further ado, Chris, you're here. So congratulations. You're up first. All righty then. We have Mr. Chris, and we'll take a look at his team real quick. Quarterback with Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, George Pickens, DJ Moore. With Sam Darnold coming in, that could actually be a better play. James Conner, David Montgomery, Schultz, James Robinson, and then he has a bunch of people on his bench. We won't spend too much time going through it. But let's take a look at this week's matchup. He is going against Mr. Terry. And, of course, Terry is not putting anybody in his lineup because, you know, he's in a bad mood. So we'll have to guess the best we can without that. So what do you got, Brother Filter? Terry versus Chris. Who do you got the dub on?
Man, Brother Terry's team has not been performing well. Hence, you know, your comments regarding his tilting. He is just riddled with injuries. Now his running backs are starting to get a little bit better.
Yeah, he's got White, Pacheco. We got a couple decent ones.
Yeah, Harris did all right.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to make this a little bit faster. So, you know what? I'm going to give this win to... I know, I feel it in my bones. Brother Chris is going to get a win versus Terry this week.
I completely agree. I won't spend too much time, but I do think that Brother Chris gets the win, and this might just send Brother Terry over the deep edge. We may not see him again after this. But yes, I will give a win to Brother Chris.
I think it'll be close, but I mean, his wide receivers, Drake London and Pittman, and all those guys are just not, you know.
Garrett Wilson, we don't know. Like, it just depends. Like, there's a lot of question marks out there. We don't know if Mike Williams is going to be back now after re-injuring. We don't know if Jamar Chase is still going to play yet because he's still banged up. So I agree. I think it's only logical to say that I got Brother Chris on the upside, and I think things are falling in his favor to take the win this week.
I agree with that. So,
all right, looking at week 13, he is going to be playing Brother Manny.
With this one, I mean, we all agree, right? Like, Manny has one of the three top teams in this one, and unfortunately, Brother Chris is going to have to catch an L on this one. No buys to be on Manny's team. He's set, locked, and loaded. So, yeah, I'm going to give that to Brother Manny.
Okay. I agree. I love you, Brother Chris, but you just have no shot. You need a miracle and things to happen. Brothers Manny's team, in my opinion, is the favored team to win it all. That's just the way I see it. Others may disagree, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that one because we have a lot of things to go through. And then he finals it out. Oh, wow. This is awkward. It's you versus Chris.
Yeah. And I got, Kamara on a bye. I got Lazard on a bye, which whatever with that. But I could have Odell Beckham on a new team by then. So
Rondell Moore could be back and be fine by then. I mean, he also does have a bye for Montgomery, so he doesn't have much as a running back to fill it in with. So I think that kind of, even things out a little bit, So
I think this would be a closer game. I think I'm going to be, depending on what happens with the, this week, and we'll talk about that coming up. I think I'm going to be sweating this out when I shouldn't be sweating it out, but I'm still going to give myself the victory on that.
Okay.
Because like I said, him losing Montgomery without a place, and then Arizona, I don't know, and Connor against New England, who has a stout defense, and Connor just, he looks very slow and plodding.
Yeah, and not only that, but they did just fire their offensive line coach or whatever it is for the run game. So that's not gonna bode well possibly going forward. So we'll see. I as well will give you the dub on that one. You still have Kenneth Walker to take the place of Kamara. He's going against Carolina. That shouldn't be that bad of a matchup. Yeah, you need a receiver and a flex, but like I say, Rondell Moore could be perfectly fine by then. Collins maybe could do something. You never know. Like I said, you could have Odell back. So I give you, and then you may have Gus Edwards going. So who knows? You could be able to put Rondell Moore in and then flex Edwards into your flex spot. So yeah, I got you winning that one as well.
And so
so unfortunately, Mr. Chris, we have you ending the season with a record of 2 and a lot of losses. All right, let's go back to the overview. We love you though, Chris. You're the best one in here. All right. All right. So we got him 2 and 12. Yeah, 2 and 12 would be 14. So we have Chris's season ending at 2 and 12. All right. Ouch. Yes, you will be wearing a dress. It's okay though. We've all been there. Next up, we got Mr. Izzy. Izzy. Can't you see?
Got a big win last week against tilting brother Terry.
Oh, very big win. Very big on the tilt factor. But he's facing brother Manny this week.
And man, Izzy's team is somewhat on a decent trajectory up lately. Man, I still gotta give this to brother Manny, but Izzy's team is going to be a tough out for the next few weeks.
I definitely think it's going to be a tough matchup for people. I just think, like you talked about, you look at the matchups, and I think that brother Manny's fine this week. Yeah, Debo's coming back in. Allen's back on the field, so that bodes well. But I just don't see him having the manpower to get it done. Najee Harris has a tough matchup against Indy. They have a great defense. So yeah, I definitely I would agree with you. I think brother Manny gets the dub. Brother Izzy gets the L, unfortunately. And let's take a look at the next one. The next one, once again, is against brother Filter. Ooh, this one's going to be interesting.
Yes, this is. Yeah, I got I'm just looking. This is going to be a closer one than expected. So I was just looking at some matchups, just seeing where I'd be at. Gosh, my wide receivers has killed me all year. Let's see. Smith against Tennessee. Debo, Miami was going to be a good one. Izzy doesn't have no buys. I think it's really going to come down to where Cam Akers, what is Cam Akers going to do now that they got Henderson out? Are they just going to force feed him the ball? But I'll let you go first. Who do you think?
I unfortunately feel this is a bad setup for you. I think brother Izzy somehow pulls out the dub. I don't know. I'm looking at the matchups. Harris against Atlanta is not bad. Ellie against Indy, that's a tough one for sure. But, yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen versus Las Vegas, that's a fucking cakewalk. I don't know. I mean, if he can do something different with his quarterback and get rid of Russell Wilson, but, I think that he's going to be able to pull out that W because you throw in, I don't know, man. I think he could pull this one out.
Yeah, even if he throws in Rodgers, but at least I got, Lazard with Rodgers or Sutton with Wilson, so that's kind of beneficial.
Well, the funny thing is you also have Garoppolo because remember Murray's on a bye, so if you put in Garoppolo, he's got Debo, so that could help unless they run the ball again, then that won't help you.
Yeah, that's where Debo would do his thing. Yeah, I'll give this to brother Izzy as well.
All right, so we're in agreement. Brother Izzy.
Yeah, that would be a close one. Man,
that's going to be a tough, man. It's going to make you a tough road. And then last but not least, he is facing off against brother Zoe to end the season. Another team that is on the rise. What do you got with that?
I'm just looking through quick little matchups here. Zeke versus Houston, Harris, Baltimore. Man, Izzy can go out with a bang. This will be another Izzy's gonna, like you said, he's gonna be a tough out. It just really comes down to his running backs, and he can slide Keenan Allen in over Myers and start putting Akers in there. Olave. Man, I'm gonna give this to brother Izzy.
I was feeling the same way. I think it's just a bad timing for Zoe, and it could be the difference to knock him out the playoffs. I think brother Izzy, is definitely looking to do that with people. I think I'm going to have to go with you, and I give that one to brother Izzy, and I think he ends up pulling out a win, which is going to put him at 6-8 to end the season. 6-8 to end the season and disrupting some people's hopes in the playoffs. I definitely think that is possible. So we'll go there. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Tilts himself, the guy who disappeared from both league chats. The guy who wants nothing to do with life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. The good news is we can skip this matchup because we've already discussed it. So on to the next one.
Yep, just mark that down for a L.
Yep, next he's going to be facing off against D, a.k.a. the spoiler. What do we got here?
I'm double-checking, just making sure there's no buys.
D's team is at full strength that week. Even his bench is
and he has Chubb versus Houston, which is going to be Kirk versus Detroit, which is another Watson versus Chicago. Man.
And you look, London versus Pittsburgh might not be easy. Pittman Jr. versus Dallas, whose defense is just getting stronger and stronger. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's pretty simple. I'm going brother D.
I'm going brother D as well.
So that's another L for Sir Terry.
Oh, my gosh. Terry's going to lose it.
He probably won't even watch this episode.
Oh, man.
All right. And then finally, he rounds out against Sir Bob to end the season. Bob has his kicker on a bye, his tight end on a bye after losing his other tight end to IR. So he'll definitely have a couple needs there.
Man, he's got a lot of people on a bye. Look at his bench.
Oh, yeah. Fields is on a bye. Patterson, Landry, Cobb. Doesn't have much. So he will go out and put Hunter Henry in. But Dalvin Cook against Detroit, that could be a pretty good matchup. Latavius Murray, don't love that against Kansas City per se. Travis Etienne against Tennessee, that's not going to be easy either. Man, brother Zoe or brother Bob just doesn't have some good matchups, in my opinion, that week.
And he should have Chase back by then. He should Mike Williams back by then. And
Hopefully.
if running backs keep going up there, you know what? I'm gonna end the season off. Brother Terry gets a W for that one.
I would agree with you on that one. So far we are pretty much in agreement. So that is going to finalize his record at 6-8 for brother Terry. 6-8. All right.
So far out of the three we've done, no playoff appearances yet.
Well, I was going to wait till the end to take a look at that, but yeah, it's looking that way so far.
No,
all right. Next up is you.
Is me.
Is you. All right. So first up, it's this week against Sir Kenneth.
I'll let you start this off. You can start off these for me.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Justin Jefferson going against New England. I don't love that matchup at all. Their defense is stout, and I know they're coming off of a bad loss this past week to Dallas, and they're going to be hungry out there, but it's still going to be a tough sledding. Aaron Jones against Philly, Singletary against Detroit. That should be okay. We got Kamara against San Fran. That's not going to be easy. Jacobs against Seattle. Man, this is a tough one. This one's going to be close. Wow. This one's hard to really go for. Is Kyler Murray going to be back? But if not, you still have Garoppolo. Who's Garoppolo playing this week? Just curious.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay, so that's not too bad of a matchup. It's not great, not horrible. Juju's a question mark. We don't know if he's going to be back from concussion yet. We assume he will, though. So that's not a bad setup there. Yeah, I don't know why. I have this sneaky suspicion you're going to pull out the W. I don't have a good lot. I don't have good, the matchups are what they are. The situation is what it is. I just think Kenny's team's been on a bit of a downslide, and he doesn't pull it out this week again. His confidence, his cockiness, as the blessings looked at that. He talked about all those bye weeks he had playing against people. He's very emphatic and changed his tune. He's forsaken the blessings. The blessings have decided to forsaken him, and I think he gets a loss.
Man, I think all my matchups are going to be extremely close.
Oh, I said it. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to blow them out, but I think you're going to get the win.
And it really comes down to Fournette and Singletary. What is Buffalo? And he's got these Thursday games, which are nice to see ahead of time. But Godwin and Lockett is this where they come out of the bye and Brady starts turning it on and Godwin just has one of those 26, 27, 30-point games?
No, because it's going to be to Evans.
Well, it could. I wonder why you would say that, brother.
I'm no dog in that. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? Yeah, I'll stick with me on this one. It's going to be another close one. I think my running backs versus his, running backs. The bottom half of my team, I think, is better. The top half of his team, I think, is better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give myself the W on that.
All right. So we've already went over the last matchups. I'll scroll through them so the viewers can see, but we have you ending the season at 7-7 because we have you losing to Izzy, which we already discussed. And then we have you winning versus, hold on. Let's get that next one to show up, and winning against Chris. So that puts you at a record of 7-7. All right. Next up is Bob, Sir Bob himself. And his first matchup is against AJ. AJ.
I think you messed up when you were talking about Kenny, that AJ was the one with the bye weeks. Oh, everybody's a bye week. And
no, Kenny said it too.
Oh.
Yeah, Kenny, if you remember early in the season, he talked about bye weeks and how teams were buys and he didn't have to worry about it. He looked ahead towards me. He was only worried about his matchup against me, which is why I think the blessings allowed me for the victory. He looked past like all those teams. He was very confident, very cocky.
No.
But we got Bob versus AJ. What you got since I went on the last ones?
Don't know if Judy's coming back yet. Adams versus Seattle. Man, I think I'm.
This is another tough one. I agree. I think the matchups, are out there that are going to make things tough. I think the teams are very similar in capabilities, but you look at AJ with Swift against Buffalo. Swift hasn't been doing great to begin with. Barkley against Dallas. Don't know if I love that. Hill against Houston. We don't know what Miami's going to do against them, but he'll still get his, but he's going to have that huge game. I don't know. Right. St. Brown against Buffalo. He has a lot riding on these Thursday games. It's going to be tough out there. And then, ETN versus Baltimore, I think that's going to be an okay matchup. Murray against Carolina could be okay. Cook versus New England is tough. We talked about that. Like you said, we don't know if Judy's going to be back. So who does he have in replacement? He still has like a Randall Cobb type of thing. He could throw in Fields. Fields could be fine. So Fields could give him another advantage. He has Adams. I don't know.
I think the flex spot is what's really selling me on that. Give me Brother Bob on this one.
And I am going to agree with you on that. We've pretty much been on pace with each other. We haven't really, which makes it a lot easier for these records because we're pretty much on agreement on all this. I think once again, Brother AJ's in the Brother Kenny curse. You scoffed at the blessings, and the blessings scoff back. And I think Brother Bob is going to pull out the much needed victory to give him a chance at the playoffs. Next up, we have AJ versus me, Bob versus me because we're on Bob, which I have not been in any of these matchups yet. So, what do you got?
Let's see here. Making sure there's no buys.
Now, keep in mind, the only thing I could say to keep in mind is, nope, he's on a bye either way. I say maybe I'll have Brown back, but I won't because he's on a bye. So this will pretty much be my starting lineup, barring injury, obviously.
Man, this is another Metcalf, Evans, Palmer, Pierce versus Cleveland, Wilson versus the old team, Mixon. Man, this is going to be another nail biter game to watch. But what separates it for me, Wilson, Mixon, ETN. Man, I'm gonna give my blessings to Brother. I'm gonna give this to Brother Bob.
Okay, and I'm just gonna go with wherever you go. So I'll give myself the L. I'm not going to comment on my own. All right, so that puts Bob at 2 wins and a loss. So that's 5, 6, 7. So that puts Brother Bob at 7-7. I'll show the other matchup, but we already talked about it. And that one was with a little confused there as to what's going on. All right, hold on. Let me get back in there because somehow this thing got messed up. All right. So at Bob versus AJ, Bob versus me, and then for some reason it keeps on going. So I don't know who Bob's last matchup was against, but we already gave him the L. So either way, it's 7-7.
Here, well, He is going against Terry.
Terry, okay. And we gave Terry that last win. All right. So Bob ends at 7-7, tied with you. Points would be the difference between you two. All right. We move into the next one, which is AJ. And we already went over this one. AJ is going to catch an L against Bob. And then it's AJ versus La Fama Blanca, Mr. AKA the People's Champ, AKA the Governor, AKA the new commish, and Gary.
Oh, he's missing Hopkins. Cooper versus Houston, like
You got
that.
Treylon Burks he could throw in there, and that's it.
Yeah. And then Cooper with Watson coming back against Houston, like that could be one of those big Cooper games. Hill versus the 49ers, Barkley versus Washington, Swift versus Jags. I'm gonna have to give this to brother Gary. He's
one to brother Gary.
Scorer, and like you said, he can just throw Burks in there. Now again, I don't know how Burks is gonna do against Philly, but unfortunately for brother AJ, that is an L.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with brother Gary. I think it's going to be tough to see teams lose to brother Gary right now unless he just has a bad week. And I apologize for the noise. Right now they're cutting the lawn outside and right by the window, so it might be a little tough, unfortunately, due to some of the background noise. But we'll keep on pressing on. And then AJ finishes the season out against me. So what do you got?
I'm taking a gander. The Browns, that's a good matchup. Hill versus Chargers, that's a good matchup.
It's hard to hear you. Can you speak up?
Yeah, I was just going over seeing who's on. He needs to fill in the flex spot. I'm still gonna give. I think this is gonna be tighter than what it should be, but I'm gonna give you the blessings for this one. Ouch for brother AJ.
So we have him pegged out at 3 straight losses to end the season. So he ends his season at 5-9. Whoa, that is going to make him highly, highly upset. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one we got is Brother D, trying to spoil some people and get himself into the playoffs. He plays me this week. So go ahead, it's on you.
Spoiler. I think Mixon's still going to play. Even though they have been holding players out a little bit longer with concussions. I don't know how bad Mixon's was compared to like Tua's and Juju's. But I'm going to assume Mixon plays. And if that's the case, I'm going to give my blessings to Brother Sheck on this one.
All right. So that would be D with an L, me with a W. All right, let's check out the next matchup. I have to do this a little different because it's going to follow me if I don't. So hold on. Let's go, Brother D. And let's go.
We already did this one. That was with Terry.
Yeah, we got to get to the last one though.
Oh, with Brother Manny. Oh, he's got a lot of buys. That should be Taylor on a buy, Watson on a buy, Mooney on a buy, Campbell on a buy, Claypool on a buy. Yeah, this is going to go to Brother Manny.
Okay, so pretty much don't need to pull it up.
Brother Manny don't have anybody on a buy.
All right, Brother Manny, it is W. Brother D is an L. So, Brother D, you are looking at, what is your record? You're at 6-5. That's 7-7 for Brother D as well. All right. We got, all right, we could go talk about some of them, but some of these have already been decided through the matchups. But Brother Kenny says not, so we'll go into Brother Kenny. We already talked about this matchup against you, so we're going to skip this one and go to the next one. The next one, he faces Brother Zoe.
Oh, Brother Zoe. Let's look here, make sure no one's on any crazy buys.
Nope, everybody looks to be playing.
Chicago. Man, Brother Kenny's team is going to rely a lot of what's going to happen with Fournette and how they end up playing him. But just based off these matchups, Stevenson of Buffalo, he's going to catch. But he has Michael Carter as well. Ayuk's been on a hot streak. Olave. I'm still going to give my blessings just because of the wide receivers. I'm going to give my blessings to Brother Kenny on this one.
All right, Brother Kenny it is. I'll agree. I could see Brother Kenny having a way to pull out this game. So that's an L there and a W there. All right, let's check out his Week 14 matchup. And he's got Gary for the Week 14 matchup. And he has Aaron Jones on a bye. His kicker's on a bye. Yeah, I think this one's pretty easy. I think Brother Gary takes this one.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, so that's 2 L's and a W. That's 6, 7, 8. That puts Brother Kenny at 8 and 6. The first 8 and 6 team that we've talked about, which could put him into the playoffs, that means. All right, next up on the list, we have Brother Zoe. And so only the first matchup is the one we haven't talked about yet. So what do we got for the first matchup against him and Sir Gary as well?
This, unfortunately, is going to go to, again, the top scorer, the number one team, the new commish. My blessings are going to go to Brother Gary.
Okay, so we have Brother Zoe losing out and ending the season at 6 and 8. Does not get another W for the rest of the year. Whoa, didn't see that coming. With that being said, all the matchups are in and all the standings are done. We can still break them. We can still go over a little bit if you want, but I don't think there's a need. We talked about them all. So here's what we have.
What is like, we can at least go through. So what do we have Brother Manny at?
Well, I'm going to start from the top to the bottom. So we have Brother Gary winning out for the rest of the season, ending his season 11-3, taking the number one spot and getting a first round bye. We have Brother Manny finishing at 10-4, tied with me at 10-4. And so it's all going to come down to the points, which logically says that Brother Manny will slide into the number 2 spot, which will give him a bye. And that's going to push me down to the number 3 spot, forced to play in the first round of the playoffs. Next up, we have Brother Kenny at the 4 spot, the only 8 and 6 team in the league, by our standings, guaranteeing Brother Kenny a spot in the playoffs, sitting at number 4 all alone. And then for number 5 and 6, it's going to be a 1-2-3-way tie for 2 spots. So it's all going to come down to points. And that's going to be between you, Brother D, and Brother Bob, all vying for the last 2 spots. So 7-7 team, it will be on the outside looking in, according to how we see things breaking out. Currently standing, right? If we go by the current points, theoretically, Brother Bob is going to have the advantage by far. He's 100 points above the 2 of you. No, almost 100 points above.
He's 100 above me, and he's
almost 100 points above Zoe. Wait, D. It's D.
Yeah. So yeah, he's about 200 above. So yeah, unlikely to see that based on ours. So,
and then Brother D then needs a miracle to catch back up to you in points. So basically what we would be looking at, according to point system, the way they break down, Bob would be 5, you would be 6, and Brother D would be sitting on the outside due to points at number 7. And that's how the playoffs would break out.
And then who do we got at 8, 9?
Well, 8 and 9 is Izzy and Zoe. So, I mean, that's a break. I mean, I don't know who's going to be that. And then you have AJ at 5 and 9. Yeah. Oh, no, 6. You have Izzy, Terry, and Zoe at 6 and 8. So those are your next 3. You have AJ falling to 5 and 9 for the second to worst team in the league. And you have Chris at the worst.
How crazy would that be if AJ plummeted like that?
Oh, he's going to be.
Again, he's still and anybody that listens to this, we're guessing, but a lot of these games were going to be very close, right? It's and that's without any injuries, without, just looking at the next 3 weeks, which we know injuries are going to happen. Things are going to happen as well. And a lot of these matchups that we looked at, very rarely, I believe that me and you just said, oh, well, this is a given. We can just blow by this. And I think there was just a few of those. And the rest of them were very, very tight games that me and you went over. So there's still a lot of teams vying for playoffs. This is just what we kind of rough estimated where, man, this could really come down to week 14 and there could be 4 to 5 teams still vying for that 5-6 spot.
100%. I mean, we said it. There's a lot of coin flips out there. There's a lot of good matchups, a lot of opportunity. Don't. I know, it's the Golden Goose League, so of course everybody's going to be up in arms. They're going to be mad, this and that. But these matches can go either way in an instant. And I don't, just because we project it going that way, absolutely doesn't mean that's the way it's going to go. I mean, we'd be doing projections every week this entire season, and really nobody's got them 100%. To this point, right? So it's still anybody's game. Basically what we're showing, though, there's a lot of opportunity for everybody to have a chance, but there's also not a lot of opportunity or a lot of room for failure there either, right? So, those trades that you did make or you didn't make, those waiver wire pickups, that fab you spend, all of that plays a factor, and all that is going to matter come down to the end. So when you look at teams possibly, and I'm not saying this is the case, but you possibly look at teams like you, like Terry, like Zoe, right, who have no fab left. God forbid a catastrophic injury happens and this player comes available, something like that, that could put you at a disadvantage. May not. Who knows, right? There's only 3 weeks left. So how much, you don't want to take fab into the off season. That doesn't make any sense. So go all in. But there's a lot of variables out there. And like you said, I mean, hell, we saw yesterday there was 2 running backs who just suddenly got dropped. We saw Eno Benjamin suddenly get dropped from the Cardinals after being the starter. Henderson just got dropped from the Rams. You don't know what's going to happen next week. So obviously there's a lot of room for error. This is just based off our first glance, what it looks like from the breakdown, from the matchups. What we expect should happen does not mean it will. So just keep that out there.
Yep, that's well put. Yeah, like you said, it's the Golden Goose League. So some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to come in and be like, oh, well, I should be able to beat this. But again, And the biggest thing of all when you're speaking is injuries. I mean, injuries, uh, you know, injuries could happen during games and cause things to happen. Injuries could be, oh, someone's now put on IR that was, a star wide receiver. I mean, look at Brother Terry's team. Brothers Terry went from having Mike Williams, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, uh, very good wide receiver core down to really nothing. So,
And you know what's funny about that though? Brother Terry's team was doing exactly what he expected it to do, minus those injuries, right? Because think about it. He played the game to say, okay, these running backs late in the season are going to be more productive. I'll get decent running backs towards the end of the season. The only difference is like you said, his 2-star receivers went down, 3-star receivers went down, right? Imagine if these guys weren't injured and now Pacheco, right, is all of a sudden is coming in. White is starting to take a bigger role. I mean, he was primed to make a run, but like you say, hell, man, you could get all of a sudden Gary, who looks like Gary or Manny, who are the two, like everybody's saying they're going to be the team in the playoffs, right? They're going to be the championship game is panning out to be those two. They have the best teams. 2 injuries, and next thing you know,
or just an injury to a running back like a Henry and Eckler, McCaffrey, Sanders, because they're thin at the running back position. Gary a little bit better because he has, Gibson and Robinson who have been playing well together. But yeah, injury to those running backs is the running back position is our thinnest position across the league.
I understand. Don't listen to what we're not saying. We're not wishing injuries upon anybody.
We're just saying that they are inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. Believe me, we do not wish injuries upon Manny's team, Gary's team, AJ, anybody's team. We're just saying it's always viable that can change the outlook of a team. Unfortunately, like it did Terry's, Terry had a very good team, barring those unforeseen injuries. And the thing is, he was doing okay with dealing with one of them. But once you get 3 of them, I mean, it's pretty hard to overcome that.
And that's why he is on tilt.
Yep. All right. Anything else you want to go over? Because we hit up a pretty good show there. I mean, anything else you want to bring up?
I mean, I can't. I mean, there's no more trades, so we can't talk about that.
All right. Real quick then. Who do you think won the trade deadline?
Trying to think of all the
trades. Were there any moves to you that stood out? I'll pull up the trades here. Hold on. I should be able to pull them up. All right. So here's the trades that went down towards the deadline. And you tell me if you see any that stand out to you as a, definitely made a good move to make something happen, right? So as of November 15th, because that's, well, let's see. I'll view all. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Oh no, that's not trades. That's everything. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can just get the trades. All right. So we'll go back to, we'll start at November 15th because that's when things really started to happen with trades. Okay. And I'll read them out to you. So we had Travis Kelce traded for Devontae Adams. That was between Zoe and Bob. Then we had Cole Clement and Deontay Johnson traded for DK Metcalf. That was with me and Bob. Then you had Kareem Hunt for Kyle Pitts. That was with Terry and Bob. They had Alvin Kamara for Terry McLaurin and DeAndre Swift. That was with you and AJ. And then we finished it out with Chris Olave for Jeff Wilson Jr. between me and Zoe. Do you think those were just like no big deal trades? Any of them stick out to you as like
it's not that they're no big deals, right? But Kelce, Adams kind of, I mean, look at both of them last week. Kelce had a huge game, right? But so did Adams. Adams had 2 touchdowns. So it wasn't something that kind of put a team over the top to where it's like, oh, this was the piece that just made this team infinitely better. So I guess if I had to say a team, it'd be Bob's team because, he traded Kelce, got Adams, but he was still also able to get Kmet, and then still, who's been on a tear. That Bears team's been on a tear, but Kmet is injured as well, right?
He's banged up. I don't know if he's injured. He's just banged up.
But I guess if I had to look at a team that kind of helped their team would be Bob. But wasn't there a Pitts trade too? Didn't
Yeah, that's why I said Kareem. He gave up Kareem Hunt to get Kyle Pitts, and then Pitts went on IR.
Yeah. So there was no trade there that I was like, oh, this just made a huge difference. Unless Swift, they start getting Swift back into.
See, I don't know. And I know it's my team, so maybe I'm biased. I feel like I made a couple good moves. I upgraded from Deontay to DK Metcalf, right? I think that's an improvement. And then, I gave up Olave, but gaining that running back and then to gain that depth with now, especially Mixon getting a concussion and could be hurt. I do feel like I strengthened up my team a little bit there.
Yeah, if they keep running Wilson like they did, then I can see that as well. But again, it still wasn't a move where it's like, oh, all of a sudden, like when we went through these, like, did we have you winning out?
No, you had me losing one game.
Like, and who knows? This is something we kind of have to revisit, because based off what we've seen right now, I personally don't think that it elevated a team to the next level. It definitely helped your team, DK and Wilson. But is Wilson a starter for you?
Yeah, he's my flex.
Okay. So yeah, I guess your team would have improved probably the most. I think you and Bob's team improved the most based off those trades. The Komet trade really helped out, because I was really confused about the Devontae Adams Kelce, because Kelce is we just seen it this week when me playing Zoe, like how big of an advantage it is to have one of those tight ends. Same with like Kittle just went off, and Andrews would probably get back into the swing of things, where those tight ends, and even Taysom Hill with Gary, like just having certain tight ends gives you just such a huge advantage. But yeah, nothing. It's better to say I did not see a trade where I was like, oh, why would you do that?
Well, that's true. And I agree with that. And I think I agree. That's a good thing, because we've seen it in the past where we're like, all of a sudden, now you're just trying to help. I mean, so, all right. I think that's all the time we got for today. I want to thank everybody for watching that is going to watch. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification buttons, just like Mr. Chris had talked about before. Once again, we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to revisit this next week, and who knows what it's going to look like. The games, just for the record, though, Filter and I are going to have the same matchup voting for this week. And we have Chris winning, Manny winning, Terry losing, Filter winning, Izzy losing, Zoe losing, D losing, Bob winning, Kenny losing, AJ losing, me winning, and Gary winning. That is the breakdown for just this week, in case you want to post it in the group chat. Anything you'd like to say before I wrap it up?
Blessings be to all, and I love you.
Blessings to all, every day, all day. And until next time, have a great Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, motherfuckers.